And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to Oklahoma Sportscene on a special edition. This is our 300th show. The show has a lot great history to it, though. Look back on some of that now. Originally, it was called the Tulsa World of Sports, sponsored by our big sponsor, the Tulsa World. It was on Cox Cable back in the 1970s, hosted by Bill Land and late coach J.B. Haney. It was first a monthly show, then twice a month. Later on, it included recently retired Oklahoma City sportscaster Dean Blevins. The show featured many Tulsa World sports writers as well, including their sports editor, John Klein. In fact, the new cable sports network back in 1979, ESPN, contacted Tulsa Cable to find out more about this show and kind of model some of their sports scene shows after this. In August of 2017, we renewed this show with co-host J.B. Haney and Tulsa Public Schools athletic director, the late Gil Cloud. The show was being taped downtown at Stokes Production Center. After another break, Grant Merrill joined me as a co-host in September of 2021, taping the shows at the Hard Rock Casino. Oklahoma Sportscene has taped its shows at several locations over the years, including the Billy Sims Barbecue Restaurants, the Bricktown Brewery Restaurants in Tulsa, and one in Oklahoma City. Also at Jimmy's Egg Restaurants, and even in the press box at One Oak Field. And with the support of the Tulsa Oilers, we moved to the Wee Street Ice Center. In March of 2024, it's been our home ever since. The last few years, we've been able to take advantage of the video Zoom technology to bring you guests from around the state and across the nation. Our network provider since the very beginning sent us this message from Roger Ramsire, Vice President Marketing of Cox Communications. The employees of Cox Communications and the loyal viewers of Cox YourView Channel 3 extend congratulations and applause on the 300th edition of the Oklahoma Sports Scene shows. Oklahoma Sports Scene has enhanced the sports landscape of Oklahoma, highlighted the sports achievements of dedicated athletes, great coaches, hardworking administrators, and sports franchises that enhance the quality of life in our community. This week, we continue that tradition. Our show number 300, a special edition, start with a very special guest. That's next on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Hey, glad you're with us for this anniversary show.
Indoor football is back, Tulsa, and season tickets are going quick. Don't miss Saturday night entertainment starting as low as $9 a month. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off again in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m. BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com. Get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast-paced, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, food, and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
We simply could not celebrate our 300th Oklahoma Sports Scene show without the man himself. Former Oklahoma football coaching legend Barry Switzer was on our very first show way back whenever that was. Coach, great to see you again. Thanks for joining us, and we'll go back a few years together.
Chris, we will go back to the 67, I think, don't we? When Laceville and I were coming up here to do the show with you, we were the coaches.
Yeah.
We'd fly into Tulsa every morning, and then we'd go up to KQL TV and on Sunday mornings of football season and do the show with you. And we had a great time doing that. We were assistant coaches. We were just playing around with you guys and having the best fun. And they had some practical jokes on there. Lace was jumping out of that locker behind us. You had on the set.
I remember that.
Like a real locker room. And Lace was inside that. You know, he was a short dude, and he wasn't quite as big as at the end. And he was in there. He would fit in there, and he jumped out of it. And all of a sudden, where's Laceville? And there he is. But anyway, great times, a lot of great memories, and of all the people, Tom Goodgame was there at that time, and manager of the studio. And but anyway, it's good to be back, and we're playing the fourth quarter here together.
I think you're right, Coach. Yeah, the Tom Goodgame, I know he approached you about, let's do an Oklahoma replay show, and you already had a show going to Oklahoma City, and I did flying you to Tulsa, Oklahoma, Sunday mornings, do this show, and he kind of made it a recruiting tool for you. He said, I don't know, said, Barry, I'll buy those buckets. You're recruiting top players. Let's get him in there and do some recruiting for us. So it worked out pretty well. Yeah,
sure did. It really did. And, you know, Tom Goodgame helped me go to the Regents and get this, the playback show was being put out there every year. The Regents weren't aware of it, just the business office. Ken Ferris was leasing it out to, or giving the contract to in Oklahoma City to Jack Ogle, and I forgot who the guy did media. I don't know why I'm having a tough time thinking. I guess it's because of my damn age. That's why I'm having a tough time. But I can't remember the guy that did the Sportscene. Golly, then his son did them later on. But anyway, we were able to get it because I told the agents I had to have it for recruiting purposes. I had to have this playback show down in Texas, and I had to have it in Houston and Dallas, West Texas, and everywhere to help recruiting, and plus have mothers and fathers who can't make it to the games to see their kids playing football at OU. So it's very vital to me.
Well, Coach, we had some magical seasons. I'll never forget my first two full seasons there covering the Sooners, 1974 and 1975. Wow, back-to-back national championships. I've been a Missouri Tiger fan up to then, but quickly became a Sooner fan. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know what? That era of the 70s was a great era. You know, we were the winningest team, the winningest team of the 70s. We won more games than anybody. Alabama was second, and probably Nebraska was probably third, fourth. But Oklahoma and Nebraska were the top two teams in the country during this time run in the 70s. And we were very good. The reason why is because I was recruiting all the best players at all positions, and I didn't care who you were. And I was playing a black quarterback in 1972 in Southwest Conference, and SEC weren't even recruiting a black player. So I got great players out of Texas. I got all the great players, and that's why we dominated. And when I had the Selman brothers, along with those guys I got from Texas, and a few others, Elrod and those guys, and Randy Hughes, Peter's boys, we were dominant then. When we had the Selman, when the Selman played at Oklahoma, we were 54-3-1. 54 wins, only 3 losses, and we were better than the 3 we lost to. Our first loss was to Kansas. My first loss was to Kansas in '75 when we won the national championship because we beat Michigan in the Orange Bowl. But we lost to them, and they were 6-5 team, and it's just because how we played and that day. And obviously, you got to give it to them. They were good. They had a good quarterback, and they ran the wishbone. So they took our offense and just ran it against us, and they've been running it all year. But other people have shut them down. 5 teams did, but we didn't that day, and but we won the rest of them.
Well, Coach, boy, has the landscape of college football changed. NIL, portals, NCAA settlement now, $20 million come to the schools to actually, it's legal now to pay players, started July 1st to pay players, and just an entire different game.
I'm glad I'm not involved in it. I don't want to be a part of it. I think they need to do some portal. In fact, they're making it like pro football. Well, let's go the rest of the way. When you draft a kid, he's yours for 3 years before he becomes a free agent. So they need to do the same thing. You sign a kid, he needs to be at your place for at least 3 years. Or if he plays as a freshman, he gets to leave in 2 years if he wants to. But he's got to be there freshman and sophomore year. So you got to finish your sophomore year of eligibility, basically is what I'm saying. You could redshirt your freshman year, then play your freshman and sophomore year coming up. You get 4 years of eligibility. You got to play 2 of them at that school. So I think that would be just like pro football. You make you a free agent then and you get in the portal. But at least you're there long enough to get on the field, play, know who's in the squad, develop some loyalty and team relationships and all, coaches and players, and find out whether you can play or not. A lot of these guys can't play. That's why they get in the portal. You get a guy out of the portal, I mean, you get a good player. I think you're getting a guy you're stepping down to. There's a reason he left the other school, and usually it's negative.
After the break, we'll have part 2 with OU legendary coach Barry Switzer. His thoughts on the portal, the negative impact it's had on high school recruiting, and Barry has a few recruiting stories you'll enjoy too. That's right, after this break, right here on Oklahoma Sports Scene, show number 300.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
Indoor football is back, Tulsa, and season tickets are going quick. Don't miss Saturday night entertainment starting as low as $9 a month. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off again in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m. BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com. Get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast-paced, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Well, Coach, I know the portal has really had a real tough effect on high school recruiting. It really hurt the high school recruiting, the coaches there and stuff. But I can't imagine now they got general managers. Of course, OU has one. All their staff, they're doing a lot of the recruiting. I can't imagine that was your game, recruiting, one-on-one relationship with the players and the families. Coach, that's kind of gone now.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't want anyone offering a scholarship without me knowing what the player can do. I want to see him. I want my staff to see him. The guys that coach those positions, I want them to evaluate the talent. I don't want anyone else evaluating talent for me to recruit. I just hard for me to believe you got guys that didn't play Division I, maybe being your recruiting, involved in your recruiting decisions. And I just, I have a yardstick in my head. I measure everybody by that position. That I know how my defensive ends, Sam's played. I know how they played. It's different. These guys today, a Sam is a guy that plays in space and has to cover guys and be able to run, play pass defense. Sam didn't have to do that for me, and I wanted to see how he played. Leroy Selman was my measuring sticks for defensive tackles and defensive ends. And if you even got close to being as good as him, you're going to get a scholarship at Oklahoma. But our guys want to see, because we've seen the best, we've coached the best. We want to see where these guys fit the measuring stick of the talent we've had before.
I know, Coach, you have some great recruiting stories. In fact, we just had Dean Blevins on the show last week, who reminded me he is one of only 3 quarterbacks in Oklahoma history who is undefeated as a starter. Of course, I only started 6 games for Barry, but I was undefeated. He said, Coach Switzer recruited me on the golf course. He came and caddied for me on the golf course and recruited me.
Well, he was voted the #1 athlete in football and basketball that year when he was out of high school. He was a great basketball player and point guard, and Dean was a good football player. Throw it and run with it. Problem I had with him is I recruited so well in Texas. I got all the great players out of Texas. I got Thomas Lott and all those guys and Billy Sims and Kenny King and Elvis Peacock already here, first round draft pick, Los Angeles. So I had a backfield of first round picks, and of course Locke was a great. They called him Black Magic in San Antonio, Texas, John Jay High School, and he was that. He was a great runner, great quarterback for me. But I've always asked who all of my great quarterbacks are. I mean, best quarterbacks, but I always say, hey, they're all good. And they definitely were. J.C. Watts could throw the ball better than all of them, probably. And that's why he took Ottawa to the Grey Cup when he was a rookie and went to Canadian League. He took Ottawa right to the Grey Cup because of his ability to run and throw the football.
Well, some of the great recruiting stories I always remember, Coach. I love the ones about Billy Sims recruiting there at a gas station there in Hooks, Texas, Lone Star beer, and finding out what the dad liked of that. Had some great recruiting stories.
Yeah, they were. I came in and we were playing. This is 1974. We went undefeated that year. They won the national championship, and we had a great team in '74. Might have been our best football team, offense and defense. And Joe Washington was, he was leading the nation in rushing. He averaged per carry and all that. And Joe never got to play the third and fourth quarter. We were so dominant. Joe said obviously he said I would rush for 7,000 or 8,000 yards. He let me play the whole game. I never got to play for 2 quarters. So we were at Colorado, walking in the locker room in 1974. We were leading 28-0. Joe already had 199 yards, and they only made 3 first downs the first half. And against the Sullivan and her crew. And I walk in, I say, great job, offense, keep it up. Defense couldn't play better. Hey, I walked over and picked a payphone up and put a nickel in it. And I called an operator, dialed an operator and said, charge this as the phone in Norman, Oklahoma. And I gave her the number. And that's when you could do that back in those days. Yeah. I said, call this number at CJ Conoco service station in Hooks, Texas. And she called that number, payphone there. And CJ answered it, and I want to speak to Billy. Billy's pumping gas, works there on Saturdays. I got Billy on the phone. I spent the whole damn half talking to him on the phone, and all of a sudden someone taps me on the shoulder and says, Coach, you better get your team back out in the field. We're going to kick off in 5 minutes. I said, you hear that, Billy? I got to finish this ass kicking. I'll call you tonight when we get back in Oklahoma. So I hung up knowing that he knew that I hadn't had time to talk to anybody else. I was locked into a halftime, and I chose to call him of all the players that I had recruiting that were great players in Texas.
And Barry, I've always appreciated the fact, I know the players do, you've always stayed so close to your players through the years, well after their playing careers are done with Oklahoma.
Well, I've always said you recruit them, you got them for life, and they prove it to me every other day. On Father's Day, I get 500 texts from my players, and it takes me a couple of days to get back with them, but individually, and it's a neat thing because that's what it's all about is taking young men and developing the next 40, 50, 60 years of living for them and their families. And you spend more time with them off the football field than you ever do on the football field. So you develop those type of relationships. They don't have that today. It'll never happen again like this with this paying players to play in the portal and all. They'll never have the relationship I had with my players, these coaches today.
Well, Coach, I'm sure you're just as ready as I am. Let's stop talking NIL and portal. Let's talk some football. What are you expecting for the Sooners in 2025 this fall?
Well, you know what NIL means, don't you?
What's that?
Now it's legal. Hey, that's what I said when it first came out with it. Hey, listen, I don't know. You asked the wrong guy. I don't ever go over there and ever watch them practice. I don't get to evaluate their talent on either side of the ball. I start with the quarterback, what little bit of highlights I've seen of spring practice and this guy throwing the ball and all. I really like him. He gets the ball out quick, he can run pretty good, and gets the ball, throws a good velocity. He looks really good, what little film I've seen. Of course, I know they're selecting the best film. It's not getting one play after another. But I'm interested just as you are in seeing how they play and how they do.
Well, Coach, I know my grandson FaceTimed me last year, which I had no idea how to do on my birthday. He said, Papa, how old are you? And I said, Lincoln, I'm 77. He goes, you're still alive? So I'm still alive, Coach. I'm still kicking, and I couldn't imagine having 300 show without having you on, Coach. Thanks for taking the time and all friendship through the years, and it's some great memories. Look forward to making some more, Coach. You look great.
All right, let's do it again next year, okay?
Next on Oklahoma Sports Scene, we're joined by a regular contributor, Tulsa World's senior sports columnist, Barry Tramel. Barry talks about the NBA World Championship, the Oklahoma City Thunder, its impact on the state. Also, the player he said is the greatest athlete maybe in the history of the state of Oklahoma. Barry Tramel, straight ahead on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Indoor football is back, Tulsa, and season tickets are going quick. Don't miss Saturday night entertainment starting as low as $9 a month. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off again in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m. BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com. Get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast-paced, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, food, and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
Oklahoma Sports Scene, show number 300, and a very special guest, Barry Tramel, the outstanding executive sports columnist. Been on the show many times before, but we want to talk about this headline in the paper of June 23rd, 2025. Blue Heaven, as the Oklahoma City Thunder became the NBA basketball champions of the world. Barry, I tell you, how did this small market, young team pull off this incredible feat?
Well, it's a wild story. I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, Chris, you've been in the state, half a century. Just the idea that Oklahoma could be the home of the NBA champions, it's just a almost pinch me moment. But it was, a lot of people put in a lot of great work, and starts at the top. Clay Bennett's ownership has been superb. Sam Presti's management of this team, this roster, has been great. And they struck it rich with some young players that are at the top level of talent and the top level of togetherness. And they just had a magical season and capped it with the NBA championship. So, I mean, it's a storybook. It's a storybook season. I don't know. It's wrong to say we didn't see it coming, because they were one of the NBA favorites to start the year. They were a number 1 seed in the West a year ago. Didn't get out of the West semifinals, but this year they did and made it all the way. So it's just a crazy, crazy thing. And to see that championship parade going through the streets of downtown Oklahoma City, just a very surreal moment.
In a recent Tulsa World column, Barry, you wrote that Thunder's all MVP guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, quote, is Oklahoma's greatest sporting hero ever. You and I are very familiar with the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. Wow, Jim Thorpe, Mickey Mantle, on and on, championship teams, players and stuff. That's quite a statement.
Yeah, and I really think it comes down to one prime contender. I think Jim Thorpe was before the time when people could really have sporting heroes. I mean, he was the Olympic decathlon champ in 1912. Oklahomans weren't, there was no internet, there was no social media, there was no ESPN, there was no television. There was really not even a radio. There wasn't a chance to be a sporting hero. So, and then you get into the Heisman Trophy winners, Barry Sanders in Stillwater, the seven, Baker Mayfield, Sam Bradford, Jason White, the whole list in Norman. But that's a little bit of a division. Good chunk of the state doesn't care when OSU does something well in football. Good chunk of the state doesn't care, and in fact prefers that OU not do well in football.
Right.
The Thunder brought everybody together. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander brought everybody together, and I think it really comes down to Mickey Mantle. And I'm not here to campaign against Mickey Mantle. I mean, that's silly. What a wonderful Oklahoman icon. And to me, it's an interesting dichotomy. Mickey Mantle was from Oklahoma. He took the Oklahomanness, the aw shucks, all-American boy, great athlete. He took that to the greatest stage in American sports. Yankee Stadium in the 1950s, when baseball reigned supreme. Yankees were dominating, going to all those World Series. The Mick won 7 World Series. He took Oklahoma to the national stage. SGA is the opposite, right? He's an outsider. He's not from Oklahoma. He's not from America. He's from Hamilton, Ontario. He brought the world stage to Oklahoma. I mean, if the NBA Finals, one of the things that always strikes me every time I cover a finals is how many international journalists are there. I'm guessing 300 press credentials were issued to international reporters.
Wow.
So, it's just a worldwide story, a worldwide event, a huge American event. And here it was. We had 4 finals games played in Oklahoma City. Went game 7. At game 7 on June 22 was just, the pinnacle of the NBA season. And there it was, SGA leading the Thunder to this remarkable championship. I tend to think he probably moves to the top above Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, certainly, and the glorious things they used to do for the Thunder. So it comes down to SGA and the Mick. There's not a right or wrong answer, but I just think bringing the world to Oklahoma rather than taking Oklahoma to the world somewhere else is a monumental event.
Well, the Thunder ownership must feel the same way, Barry. They just came with a new contract extension through 2031, $285 million.
Yeah, he got that, 6 more years that SGA and the Thunder are tied together. It's becoming monopoly money. It sounds crazy. Here's what's interesting, Chris. Let's see.
Yeah.
I think the Thunder is going to pay Shea $368 million over the next 6 years. That ownership group in 2006, they paid $350 million for the whole dang franchise. So,
Wow.
It's crazy money, but you can put a pen to paper and see where the elite players in the NBA are worth it. LeBron James has been the most underpaid. He's been the most well-paid player while also being the most underpaid player of the 21st century.
You also point out in that column, I thought really interesting how fortunate, how Thunder fans realize this, we've had, you talked about at least one all NBA star player on this franchise team for 14 of their 17 seasons in Oklahoma City.
It's crazy, Chris. I mean, it's unbelievable. We're not talking about a guy who's made all NBA. We're talking about a guy who made all NBA that season. 14 out of the 17 years, the Thunder's had an all NBA selection for that season. And the 3 years they didn't was 21 and 22 when Shea was budding into a star. And you could see that he was about to get there. And 2009, when they had a 20-year-old Kevin Durant, who clearly was going to be a superstar, if not already. So the star power that we've been blessed with and have gotten to watch here, I think it's been unprecedented. I'm not sure the Lakers have ever had a 14 in 17-year run. And that's the Los Angeles Lakers. So, to me, it's just, we should feel blessed as a fan base. We really should.
And now, of course, we start looking ahead already. That was interesting, too, that the Thunder were the 7th different team in the last 7 years to an NBA championship. They've, of course, now been tabbed as the 3-1 favorite to win it again in 2026. You've got an idea of who some of the big threats are, at least in the West, for the Thunder franchise.
Yeah, the problem when you're with the Thunder being where they're at is They had a great year. They won it. They got a young team. It's not a problem. It's a wonderful thing. But their growth, their improvement is going to have to be internal. You know, the salary structure is set up for them to be able to pay SGA, a contract extension, Jalen Williams from Santa Clara, Chet Holmgren, they're due big contracts. They can sign extensions this summer. So the Thunder's positioning to make sure they can pay those guys while keeping the core, you know, pretty well distributed too. So the Thunder's not in the free agent market. Other teams can go out and try to manipulate their roster and get better. Denver has, they've gotten deeper. Houston has, they've added Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So I think those two teams, and Minnesota has made 2 straight conference finals and will be good again. So other teams are scrambling to keep up with the Thunder, but it is remarkable that this new threat to NBA parity, you know, the NBA is the most least parity league ever, really. You know, the Celtics, when they won 11 in 13 years, 57 through 69, they sort of set the standard that this is going to be a dynastic league. And except for a period there in the 70s, it mostly has been the Showtime Lakers, the Larry Bird Celtics, the Michael Jordan Bulls, the Tim Duncan Spurs, then the Warriors with Curry. So it's been a dynastic league. But now we've hit this amazing parity, and the threat to that parity is little old Oklahoma City. So we'll see if the Thunder wanted so much to break up that dynastic hold on the NBA, and now it wouldn't mind seeing a dynastic run back in the NBA.
Well, golly, but just we're riding high. We had a big parade. We're celebrating the championship. And you come out with a column talking about the Thunder NBA championship, quote, comes at a cost. The title makes it more likely the Thunder soon could be sold.
Yeah, you know, we've always wondered what's going to happen. Is this ownership group going to turn it over to their children, to the next generation, or sell it to Oklahoma interests? We didn't know what was going to happen, but I found out here in recent days, recent weeks that this Thundership ownership is going to sell eventually, and probably sooner rather than later. Somewhere I'd say in the next 3 years. Probably want to see the new arena open under their leadership, 2028. But the Clay Bennett group is not going to hold on to this team forever. The financial stakes are just too high. They put in $350 million as a group. The franchise is worth about $4 billion today. That's just too much money that you can make. That's just too much. That's life-changing for your family, for your legacy. It's going to happen. So the key is position yourself well, which the city has with the new arena, to make sure that even if an outsider, somebody from California or Texas or Florida, buys this franchise, they'll know, hey, Oklahoma City is the place for this to be. There's no other place for the Thunder, because of the community support, the civic government support, the arena, just the tradition. And so far, that's the way it's happened. So I don't think it's cause for alarm. It's just the way business goes. The Lakers sold the other day for a valuation of $10 billion. The Celtics, $6.1 billion. Yeah. The cost, the value of NBA franchises, skyrocketing. The Thunder is not exempt.
Well, Barry Tramel, you're priceless. Thank you for joining us on our 300th Oklahoma Sports Scene show. Sure appreciate your time, Barry. Thanks again.
Well, hey, congratulations on it. It's a great run, Chris. 300 is a big number, so you're still having fun, so keep on going.
All right, we'll be right back with more of our 300th Oklahoma Sports Scene edition right after we take this break.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, food, and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit, so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
Indoor football is back, Tulsa, and season tickets are going quick. Don't miss Saturday night entertainment starting as low as $9 a month. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off again in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m. BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com. Get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast-paced, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
We're back on Oklahoma Sports Scene now, celebrating our 300th edition of the show. We're going to another broadcast veteran here in Oklahoma, the man himself, Jim Traber, the ultimate, the guy, of course, sports animal radio across the state of Oklahoma. Jim, welcome. How many years for you now in this crazy business?
Well, first of all, congratulations on 300 shows. That's awesome. Very nice. I've been doing sports talk radio now for 32 years. So it's been a lot longer than I ever expected it to be.
Afternoon sports speed, of course, 2 to 4. We're listening over here in Tulsa as well. And then 4 to 6 with your longtime pal, Al Ishbach. And you guys have been quite a team. And I tell you, I love your style, though. You let people know just what you think, and you don't handle fools very well, the yardbirds, as you call them.
Yeah. I mean, look, the thing about this show is that if you call into me, you're wanting to talk to me, but a lot of them want to talk to me to rip me or come after me, and that's fine as long as you let me talk. But if you don't let me talk, I'm just gonna, I like to put them on hold and then talk to them and then bring them back. But most of the callers are great, and it's been a great career for me. I love doing it. Al's been great. Al's been doing it for coming up on 49 years.
Wow. Well, you had a great career in athletics as well, of course. High school standout in Maryland and on to Oklahoma State, football quarterback there, and an outstanding baseball player. Looking at your stats, I was impressed. 1980-82 with the Cowboys, batting average of .389, and a major league career on with the Baltimore Orioles. Wow, what a sports career.
Well, I mean, I was blessed. I mean, God gave me a lot of ability to do different things, and I always thought I had a chance to play baseball. And so when I got drafted, it was just time for me to go, and I went with the Orioles. And unfortunately, you can't pick who you get drafted by. And I got drafted by an organization that had a Hall of Famer at my position in Eddie Murray, so that didn't help me very much. But I did end up spending almost 3 years in the big leagues, and it was it's an amazing adventure to try to get to the big leagues through the minor leagues, and I was very blessed to get there.
So, Jim, what was it like to play 1990 and 91 in Japan? You banged out 53 home runs, I saw, batted almost 300 over there. You had a pretty good time.
Yeah, Japan is a really interesting place because if you go over there as an American and if you go over there and think to yourself, well, we're a lot better than they are, then you're not going to survive, And frankly, they do some of the most psychotic things you'll ever see in baseball. Some of the workouts that they do, they actually like practicing better than they do playing games. I mean, there were times where we would practice and take batting practice. They had an indoor facility. Every place had an indoor facility. And then they would cancel the game because of rain. And then I would shower and I'd walk out and it would be like perfect outside. So we could have played the game, but they just wanted to make sure that they practiced. But I went over there, and unfortunately, I was in a really bad marriage at the time. And I did really well in baseball, and I turned down about $1 million my third year to go over there. And but if I wouldn't have done that, I would have never come here to Oklahoma. I would have never met my beautiful wife now and adopted my little daughters. So it's been an amazing run for me. But Japan you got to accept their culture. If you don't accept their culture, you're not going to survive. And I could see when a guy came over to Japan, like this guy named Benny DiStefano. He was a good guy, but he was a psycho. I mean, just a crazy baseball player. And I knew the minute I saw that he signed with a team that he was not going to work out over there. And sure enough, about a couple months later, he was gone. So you got to accept what they're all about,
Well, Jim, you're also remembered very well there in Japan and still on YouTube for a little incident where a Japanese pitcher made a big mistake. He decided to hit Jim Traber and you went after him.
Yeah, that was the third time that this pitcher hit me. And it's weird because we played each team like 18 or 19 times, and he was a left-handed reliever, so he came in to pitch to me a lot. I faced him all the time. And I thought he was going to pitch to me because the first pitch he threw me a strike on the outside corner. So I thought, okay, great, I'm going to dig in here. And it was in a big situation late in the game. And then the next pitch he drilled me, and I just was tired of it. So I chased him. And in Japan, they don't fight, they run. They run away. So if you go online, you can watch it. I had to chase him all the way into the outfield. Then I tried to fight their coach, their manager, who stepped on my face. It was crazy. The whole thing was crazy. But yeah, I'm definitely known for that in Japan and lots of other places too.
And Jim, you're also pretty well known for your medical record. My gosh, the number of surgeries and things you've had through your careers. And think back to really a scary time, 2019, and a 4-hour brain surgery.
Yeah. God wants me to be on the planet longer. That's just that simple. He's not ready for me yet because I've had brain surgery. I've had some heart surgeries. I've had lots of replacements. The brain surgery was a trip, though, because I had driven down to WinStar to play in a poker tournament. I love playing poker.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Memorial Day weekend. And I was doing really well. I mean, I was getting chips and stuff, but I started to feel kind of fuzzy. I didn't know what was wrong with me. And then suddenly I just passed out. And the next thing I remember was Julie seeing me in an Ardmore hospital and them telling me that they're going to send me back home. So it was Memorial Day weekend. They tried to get a helicopter, couldn't get one, had to come back. And then I met this Dr. Friedman who did this surgery on my brain. And luckily, I had a meningioma, but it was attached to my head, not my brain. So they went in there and got rid of it. And luckily I made it through, and here I am. So,
how many surgeries? What's the latest count, Jim?
Boy, it's got to be in the neighborhood of 20 to 25. I mean, I try not to. I try not to. The only guy that's ahead of me is Dean Blevins. And I know you just had Dean on. Dean is ahead of me, but yeah, I've had lots of replacements, and unfortunately, there's some parts of my body right now that I probably need another one. But I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to go like at least a year and a half without any surgeries.
Well, let's talk now the hottest topic still in Oklahoma. Of course, the incredible run, the NBA championship, the Oklahoma City Thunder. What a season, what a run, what an impact it's had on this state.
It's amazing. It really is. They've come from, they were so good a while ago, and then they went bad, and now they've come back, and they've built this team. It's just amazing how they built this team. And, they've been through last year. They were the number 1 seed, lost in the second round. So they learned a little bit. They went out and got, obviously, Caruso and Hartenstein to help them. And then this year they did it. And, I think a lot of people around here thought it was going to be a little bit easier than it was. Yeah. But, I tried to convince people on the radio that Indiana was pretty good. But they ended up beating them in Game 7 and winning the championship. So, and they're set up, too, Chris. I mean, they're set up for the next few years. So it's going to be fun things around here.
Many of the fans and a lot of the media people, including one of your regular guests, and was on our show just recently, Barry Tramel, he just talked about, said he's proclaimed that the Thunder is the best sports team in the history of the state of Oklahoma, and went on to add that OKC's MVP player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is Oklahoma's greatest sports hero ever. Your thoughts?
I mean, he's probably right. It might be a little bit early for SGA, but, it's so hard because in college, there's OSU fans and there's OU fans. And of course, up where you are, there's Tulsa fans.
Sure.
But for the Thunder, they're all together, so it makes it even bigger. I think the day that the Thunder came here, I don't think anybody would have thought that they'd become bigger than OU football, but they have. They're bigger than OU football. Yeah. Now, if OU football was, ranked number 2 in the country and was as good as they were at times here in the last 25 years, maybe it'd be closer. But I'm going to tell you something. The people in this state have gotten behind the Thunder, and it's the biggest sports story that we've ever had, I believe.
Yeah. What about the future for this team? Of course, they already made 3-1 pick to win the title again next year. Although amazing, Jim. I was looking back, the last 7 years they've had 7 different NBA champions. It's not easy to repeat any sport.
No, you're right. And I think that everybody thinks they're going to win next year, but you just never know. Everybody, hey, a year ago right now, we all thought Boston would repeat, right? I mean, I picked Boston to beat the Thunder in the finals before last season. And you see what happens, things don't go well, then you get a big injury, and the next thing you know, you're in trouble. So, yeah, look, they're the favorite and should be. But as you notice, all these teams around them, they're building. They're trying to build to get to the Thunder. That's what happens when you're the number one team.
Well, all I know is your sensitive side really comes out, Mr. Traber, when it comes to with you and your wife on that Julie and Jim podcast. And you advertise it as covering the, quote, good, the bad, and the ugly of 25 years of marriage, life, and sports, and nothing is off limits.
No, that's right. And by the way, it's 30. It'll be 30 years of marriage coming up in December. We've been doing that podcast now for a while. But yeah, listen, this has been a lot of fun. And I think the number one thing that's happening is that people are kind of seeing a different side of me because, notice it's Julie's name first because she runs the show. And so but it's been great. She's so good at this. I mean, if she would have grown up in this kind of business, Chris, she would have been a star. But, she's done a lot of great things in her life, and now she takes care of grandbabies. And it's been a lot of fun doing this podcast. And people, if you want to go listen to it, I think you'd love it. The Julie and Jim Traber podcast.
And, of course, always enjoy listening to you on the Sports Animal. And going to have you back with us next week. In fact, Jim, we'll be talking college football and get your thoughts on the future for the Sooners and the Cowboys in the 2025 season. Look forward to having you on next week with us too, Jim.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot.
Okay, be right back with more on our 300th edition of Oklahoma Sports Scene as we take this time out.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, food, and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
Those are putting together our 300th Oklahoma Sports Scene show. I know I had some star from thoroughbred racing. Of course, I couldn't think of a brighter one than my friend Bob Baffert, Hall of Fame trainer, two-time winner of the Triple Crown, so many accolades. And Bobby, great to have you with us and to have some great times together. Gosh, I can remember back to old quarter horse days in a cold Los Alamitos night track in California.
Yeah, Chris, we go back a long way, and I appreciate you having me on here. You've been probably the best promoter of horse racing we've ever had, and we really miss you. Those days at Los Alamitos, they were a lot of fun.
They sure were. Well, the horse racing industry just lost a giant of the sport, of course. A great friend of yours, a guy who set the standards in so many ways. At 89 years old, the passing of the Hall of Fame trainer, D. Wayne Lucas.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. He was such an icon, and I've known him, Chris. First time I ever saw him was like 17 years old. Brought a string of racehorses into little Arizona fair circuit track, cleaned up, went to Los Alamitos, followed his career, just dominated everywhere he went. Switched over to thoroughbreds. Within 3 years, he was just dominating that sport, and he just revolutionized quarter horse and thoroughbred racing. And he brought a lot of showmanship to the sport, a lot of class. His barns were impeccably the most I always joked with him. I told him he should have been a landscaper. He would have had the best. He'd been the best landscaper ever. I mean, everything was detail. He was unbelievable.
Now the three-piece suit, the designer sunglasses, the white bridles on the horses. But you said you remember him be training and leading the horse out to the gate in a three-piece suit.
I remember I was at Los Alamos. It was 1973. I was out there visiting. While I was going to college, we'd go to Los Alamitos, and it was in the wintertime, and he had a big race, and he saddled a horse, wearing a three-piece wool suit on. He puts a saddle on it, and instead of walking up to the grandstand, he's got somebody holding the pony for him. He gets on the pony horse, and he takes the horse, escorts the horse to the gate himself. I mean, that's how hands-on he was. He won the race, but it was just, I mean, we'll never see a guy in a three-piece suit doing that again.
You know, he had such a business sense, and of course, he was so good with the media, promoting the sport. But a lot of people wondered, how good a horseman was he? I mean, how good a horseman was D. Wayne Lucas?
He was actually an excellent, really a good horseman. He knew horse flesh. He went out and he bought, starting with the quarter horses. I mean, he'd see a horse, he'd go out and buy it. He was great in buying yearlings, young horses, and he won everything. He just, and then when he switched over to the thoroughbreds, he went over to Keeneland and he just bought physical instead of, he didn't know the breeding that well. And he bought all the good physicals. No, he didn't worry about the pedigrees, and he made the pedigrees, and he just made people realize, hey, you guys are buying the wrong kind of horses. And he bought the speed horses, and next thing you know, he was just winning everything.
Well, you know, I think it was poignant and kind of full circle that the very last race winner that D. Wayne Lucas had was at Churchill Downs on June the 12th. A 4-year-old named tour player that actually was one of your horses you sent to D. Wayne at Churchill.
Yeah, Wayne. Actually, I've sent him a couple horses in the past. You know, another horse earlier. You know, about a few years back, and yeah, it's my wife's horse. I was after the Derby. I packed up. We left after the Preakness. I left him that horse, and he won. That was his last winter, and we talked about it. But I really got, you know, the last couple months, I really got, you know, close to him, and we talked, and all we did was talk about quarter horse stories, old quarter horse stories, and because we go way back, and we always got along. We always competed together, but to me, when I came into the sport, he was always the bar, you know, and to me, I think he would have probably had more Derby wins and in classic races, but he outlived his owners, you know, and so. But he was, but I do have a funny story to tell, because one of my assistants, Wayne, told me to hire him, you know, and so it was great. He gets all my materials ready. And we were talking the other day, we were just telling old Wayne Lucas stories. And he was telling me that one time, you know, Hall of Fame rider Mike Smith and him were coming out of the paddock, and there's a horse for some big stake race. And all of a sudden, this horse came up and he started kicking at him and acting up. And Wayne grabs Mike and just puts him in front of him. And Mike goes, "Wayne, are you trying to kill me?" I said, and he told him, "Mike, there's 1,000 of you. There's only one Wayne Lucas." And you know what? That's the way he lived his life. I mean, he was right. There will only be one Wayne Lucas, because what he did, he brought, you know, he started out as a coach.
Yeah, right.
Basketball coach.
Basketball coach, yeah.
Yeah, and he was good friends with Bobby Knight, and he'd bring him along. But he brought that coaching experience with him, and that recruiting. Like if he was coaching now, NIL, oh, he would be killing them. He would have the best teams, you know. He knew how to. He had a business plan, and that's what he brought to horse racing as a trainer. He brought this business model with him, and he had a plan, and he executed it, and he made a lot of. You know, he was very ambitious, and he had these goals, and you know, he won every race possible, imaginable.
How about an update now on the Bob Baffert stable in 2025 with the Breeders' Cup coming to your neighborhood, Del Mar and San Diego in end of October?
Yeah, it's we're just getting ready. You know, our barn is mainly like Wayne Lucas. We deal with the young horses. We've got the new, with the 2-year-olds coming in and getting them ready for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile like we did last year. And hopefully one of them will be Kentucky Derby bound, hopefully. That's what keeps us in the game. It's a game of dreams, but it's a lot of fun. And, I love the process of it all. And Del Mar, beautiful track, beautiful setting. And most importantly, beautiful weather, and you've got the Pacific Ocean right behind you. So anybody that's never been, it's a bucket list kind of race. You need to go.
Where the turf meets the surf. Fabulous Del Mar. Looking forward to that. And Bobby, just again, congratulations on your great career. 17 Triple Crown race winners, 6-time winner of the Kentucky Derby, record 8 Preakness wins, 3 Belmonts. Of course, the crowning achievement, the 2 Triple Crown winners, American Pharoah, pictured right there over your shoulder in 2015, then Justify 3 years later. And of course, I think some fun trips we had in Dubai, bringing 4 of the World Cups over there too.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone fast. It's gone quick and fast, but I can't remember my roots. I'm a quarter horse guy. At the end of the day, like Wayne was he was a cowboy.
Yeah.
And at the end there, you couldn't wear a cowboy hat when you came over to the thoroughbred world, but at the end there, he wore his cowboy hat and he felt comfortable with it. And he went out, he had a great run, and he'll be considered one of the best ever.
And many people thought you would be the next D. Wayne Lucas. Will there ever be another D. Wayne Lucas?
No, I don't think there'll ever be a D. Wayne Lucas. I'm just fortunate enough that I've had, a lot of success that he had, and I'm going to miss him. He was a good friend, and he really made me a better person. I followed his program. His business program was the greatest. Dealing with the clientele, he was so good with clientele and getting. And he only wanted to play at the top level, Chris, and until the very end, he said he couldn't imagine just going out there, just training, a barn full of just regular horses. He wanted to compete. He wanted to compete in all the big races, and that's the only way he'd have it.
A legend, certainly be missed. Bobby, thanks for joining us on our 300th Oklahoma Sports Scene show. I couldn't think of a better person to represent thoroughbred racing, and thanks for all the good times together. Best to Jill and the family.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Barry back with more on Oklahoma Sports Scene after this break.
Baseball, fireworks, food, family. It's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
As we wrap Oklahoma Sports Scene show number 300, I want to recognize the people that make this show possible, including our director and editors, Michael Knight and Thomas Walkingstick. From Cox Communications, Roger Emsire and Donnie Woodle. Many sponsors and supporters, and of course, you, the Oklahoma Sports Scene fans, for watching. Thank you very much. Don't miss next week's show. We'll start previewing college and high school football. That's coming up on Oklahoma Sports Scene next week. Again, I always remind you, though, be a good sport.